Good morning, Market Chameleons, and everyone joining us for the first time. Thanks for coming by and checking out our Market Chameleon pre-market show webinar. Before we get started, let's take a look at the share disclaimer. Be aware that neither Market Chameleon, Dimitri, or myself are registered investment advisors or a broker-dealer. If you're searching for investment advice, please reach out to a licensed professional. This show and this webinar, like all our shows and webinars, are for informational purposes only concerning Market Chameleon tools and products. With that, one last look at the webinar. We'll remove that disclaimer and welcome Dimitri Pargamonic to the show. Good morning, D.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good. And today we're going to talk about how to track an option strangle benchmark strategy. Correct?
Yeah. And
All
let me
right.
share my screen here so we could navigate to it. And in this example, what we'll do is look at a benchmark of an option strangle. So it's a strategy where instead, a lot of people look at straddles as, at the monies, and we talk about that a lot, or we're looking at an at the money call and put on the same strike. This is a strategy that looks at out of the money call and out of the money put in the same expiration as a strategy. So it's also considered non-directional because you're either buying an out of the money call and put or selling out of the money call and put. And it's either you're looking for, if you're buying it, looking for a large move, and if you're selling it, you're looking for the stock to stay volatility to stay muted and the stock not to move a lot. So let's take a look first at this example, and I'll use SPY. Let's type in SPY here. And we come to the main page for SPY. On the left-hand side, we have this menu. I'm going to click on options. And under options, we see this strategy benchmarks over here. So I'm going to click on the strategy benchmarks. And let's close this menu just to expand our screen. And we have these different strategies, these different strategies that we could tab through. And we're going to look at this one, the strangle. And as a strangle, like you could see here from the buy side, this is just like a visual example of what it could look, what it would look like in the payout diagram. So if, like, say the current stock price is right here in the middle, and if you buy strike B, a call, and then you buy strike A, a put. So you could see the strike B is a strike above the current stock price, and strike A is a put below the current strike price. This is what the strategy would look like at expiration if you're buying them. If you're selling them, it would look on the flip side. So if you're buying, you could see you need the stock to move beyond a certain point to reach this green area to go above the call strike plus cover the premium of both the call and put. And then as the call becomes in the money, it'll go in the green here, profitable. And on the downside, it has to go below that strike and go below that strike by enough to make that put more valuable than the price of the original cost of the call and put. So when we try to visual or assess the cost of this strategy, look, what is a strangle cost right now, and what is it relative to its history? Is it on the high end? Is it on the low end? And we may want to compare it across different expirations, and we might want to compare it within expirations, but different types of securities, like, what is SPY versus QQQ, or SPY versus a security like Apple. And to do this, we need a benchmark. And here we have some of these benchmarks that we could look at. Okay, so the first one is a strangle that has a 30-day constant maturity. So when we reference options, we need to give it a maturity, because an option with a date to go the premium would be less than an option with 5 days to go, because you have more days, right? So the premium there is different. And
ED?
premium, yeah.
We did have a question from Rob when you mentioned premium. He asked, is a reason to use a strangle instead of a straddle the fact that the strangle is cheaper to place and you can buy more of them if you desire?
Well, with the strangle, right? With the straddle, you're talking about an at the money option. So when you're there's background noise on your side right now, so we could hear. So in the straddle, you're looking at an at the money strike. So the stock has to move, away from the current strike price by enough. But the straddle typically is more premium, right? Well, it should be more premium because you're looking at a strike that's really close to the stock price, right? The strangle, you're looking at out of the money options. So the out of the money options will cost less, but the stock needs to move more to reach those strikes. So you're talking about, let's say a stock is at 100. Well, if we're looking at a 95 put and a 105 call, well, now the stock has to move above 105 or below 95 for the put to be in the money, and above 105 for the call to be in the money. And anything in between those options will expire worthless. See here in the red. You're looking at bigger. It would require a bigger move, right? Bigger move in a strangle than a straddle to get those options in the money by expiration. And sometimes people do strangles because they like to do those out of the monies, thinking maybe the stock will move around somewhere in between, but not reach those particular strikes. So from the sell side, or if you think that there's a really big move in either direction, you don't want to. You might think that the straddle itself is very expensive, but you're willing to buy the wings for a cheaper cost. And we could compare it right now. Here's a straddle. So we'll just do that, but it will be a cheaper cost for the strangle. But if there's a big move, then the payoff based on the amount of that you had at risk could be greater. So in this situation, I'm looking at a strangle with 30 days constant maturity. And because there is no option every single day that's exactly 30 days to maturity, we have to create a benchmark. So we use a weighted average between the different expirations that straddle 30 days, and we use a methodology similar to VIX to come up with this 30-day constant maturity synthetic option. And we have to define, well, the strikes, the distance. So we keep it at 5% above and below at the money. Okay, so that's what this is looking at. Well, what if we had an option with 30 days to maturity with a put 5% out of the money and a call 5% out of the money, right? So what would the cost of that be? So we're using the implied volatilities and coming up with the cost. And here it's saying that the cost would be 3.4% of the spot price. Okay, so it's 3.4% of whatever the stock price is, because the stock's moving around. So the dollar cost could change, but we're looking at the percent. So you see here, 5% out of the money call, 5% out of the money put, 30-day constant maturity, 3.4%. Now, is that high or low? right? And when we say high or low, it has to be relative to something, right? Like, how do we figure high relative to what, or low relative to what? So first we look at the 52-week average. So on average, you could see it was much lower, 0.3%. So now we're at 3.4%. And you could see here from the chart, this is what the chart looks like. So you could see this way spike up, right, recently, way above everything else, 3.4% on those wings 30 days out, relative to historically, you're looking at a 0.3% premium. And as we slide down, we could see the same thing happen in 60 days out and 90 days. So 60 days out, we're looking at a 4.8% premium in the wings. 90 days out, 5.9%. So you can see here, how it's climbing from 3.4, go out another 30 days, you're adding another, 1.4% in premium. If you go out another 30 days, from 60 days, you're adding 1.1% in premium, and you could see the differences historically, from 0.3 to 0.8, a 0.5%, from 0.8 to 1.4, that's 0.6%. So now we could kind of imagine, now we have a few relative values, right? We have a relative value based on its history. We have a relative value based on different days to maturity, right? And we have a relative value based on the differences between the days to maturity in a historical perspective. So these are quick ways to assess this particular strategy, the strangle, by using benchmarks. So because, looking at the options chain, you're not going to get that insight. You kind of need to perform this analysis and keep track of it. So let's compare. Rob asked a good question. Well, what is this? So we see here that in this situation, the stock has to move more than 5% away for these options to be in the money. But it has to move 5% plus 3.4%, right, to cover the cost of the premium. So you're talking about 5% just to get in the money, plus another 3.4%. So that's, 8.4% to the upside, or 8.4% to the downside to break even. If it moves beyond that, then the straddle from the long side becomes profitable. From the short side, it has the stock has to stay within that, within the 5% range. That means those options will expire worthless, and you keep that, the cost of it, whatever you sold it for, 3.4% with the spot price. And for you to break even, it has to stay within the 8.4% range, up or down. So let's look at a straddle in comparison. So here's a straddle. So the straddle, you can see here, this is looking at 30-day maturity, just like the other ones, but we're looking at the money strikes. So at the money strikes here's the current spot price and the strike. So for example, if the stock is 504.38 and we're looking at a strike 504.38, and based on the implied volatilities and 30-day constant maturity, that straddle costs you 7.3% of the stock price. How does that compare to history? Well, historically, the average is 2.6%. So you could see here that we spiked up here too, right? But here you could see that you're risking more, right? You're risking more because your premium, instead of paying 3.4%, let's just say 3% of the spot price, like whatever it is, $15, $16, $17 you're paying 7% of the stock price, right? But you could see here that to break even, it has to move 7.3% either direction. Okay, so you're risking more, but here you have a little bit less, you know, to your break even, 7.3% versus whatever we said before, 8.4. So that's the trade-off. You know, the trade-off is, you know, do I, you know, if I'm looking for a big move, if you think like it's going to move 15%, then, you know, you may want to look at the Strangle, you know, as if you think it's going to stay within 8.4%, you know, the Strangle could be a sell, or you could do a combination. Sometimes you might want to say, well, I will buy the at the monies and sell the out of the monies, and then you create a new strategy, which is the butterfly, right? Where you do the at the monies and do the opposite to the wings. You know, if you sell the at the monies and buy the wings, or buy the at the monies and sell the wings. Okay, and when we're looking at the strat before we go to the options chain, here we could at least come to a place where we could evaluate the benchmarks to see how they look relative on a relative basis. Again, relative to history, relative to other strangles on different expirations, like so. We have like 120-day too, and or you could look at it against other securities like QQQ, right? Because sometimes strategies are cross asset, where you could be buying one, selling the other, or you could just look on a relative basis. If I think things are volatile and things are moving in one beta, like on a relative basis, which straddle looks better now, this one or this one. And that's the, you know, the insights and the potential opportunities that we could use these types of benchmarks. Think of a benchmark as an implied volatility as a benchmark, right? When we look at an implied vol, that's a benchmark as well. But this goes a little bit further into strategies, right? Not just like referencing an implied volatility of, you know, let's say 30-day at the money. This looks at an option strategy. So I think I covered everything on this page at this point, so I'm going to stop here.
Yeah, that was excellent, D. Thanks for bringing us that webinar. Super interesting. Thanks to all the chameleons who joined. I know some people came in late. You can always catch the webinar and follow up on the YouTube channel. They all exist out there. We also have a webinar today with Interactive Brokers. I will put the link into the chat. You do have to register on Interactive Brokers website for that. And I think we're going to be discussing, what are we going to be discussing there, D?
We're actually going to do at the money straddle screener. So we're going to look at how to screen for at the money straddles. And we're going to talk about like different parameters that you could use to narrow down potential candidates, and also narrow down to maybe groups of stocks where you could compare them against each other.
Perfect. And I will put that webinar in the chat today. And again, as long as you register, you can get at that webinar anytime through the Interactive Brokers website. Again, D, great job. Everyone remember to follow us, like us, give us a nice thumbs up on YouTube. Great job as always, D, and we will see everyone tomorrow. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, Aaron.
Trade in peace, chameleons. Have a great day. Bye.